In today's part of the interview with Judge Moore, and I'm so thankful he took the time to do it, we're going to look at the role of God in government. We're going to look at how Christians will end up going to jail because of this godless Supreme Court decision legalizing so-called homosexual marriage. And we're going to talk about impeachment. I hope that you are challenged and blessed by what you hear. Mr. Chief Justice, thank you so much for giving us your time. It really is an honor to visit with His Honor.
Well, thank you.
What exactly are you right now asking people to do, and why?
Well, right now we're not asking anybody to do anything. We're engaged in a conflict with the federal court, and the Supreme Court of the United States has just issued a horrendous opinion that I think contradicts the Constitution. So we're fighting with briefs, and we're fighting and writing and speaking and letting people know what this is really about.
Justice Scalia, in his dissent, and he's no dummy, he uses words with incredible precision. He called this a judicial pooch.
Yeah. Yes, basically, just like he refers that to the Nazi Germany time period, and basically it's a seizure of power by the judiciary. Over and above the Constitution ever imagined. In fact, this is really adverse to our religious liberty. It's adverse to the Constitution and has no basis in the Constitution. One of my favorite quotes in there was what Justice Roberts said when he said that if you're on the other side, that you may have a right to celebrate and you may have a right to do this or that, but don't celebrate the Constitution because it had nothing to do with it. And I think the four dissenters in this case clearly showed that the Constitution had nothing to do with it. In fact, Justice Roberts says, who do we think we are? And I think that's a good statement. Who do they think they are when 5 lawyers, and that was a reference to Justice Roberts, said 5 lawyers have closed the debate, enacted their own vision of marriage as a matter of constitutional law. And I think that sums it up.
He said something in his dissent that I felt was pretty ominous. And I'll read to you a couple of things. He said, Dred Scott's holding, the slavery decision, Dred Scott's holding was overruled on the battlefields of the Civil War. And then he went on to say those who founded...
by a constitutional amendment.
Right. And then he said, they, after all, about our founders, he said, they, after all, risked their lives and fortunes for the precious right to govern themselves, and they could not have imagined yielding this to unelected, unaccountable judges.
I think one of the things I noticed in the dissent is all 4 dissenters kept referring to 5 lawyers or a committee of 9, talking about the whole court, but they were very disparaging as to exactly what these people on the other side had done. The majority opinion in this case certainly was an act of will, not of law. It was an act of that should have been left to the legislature. In fact, I think it was Justice Roberts cited that you'll notice there's nothing in there about the normal state authority over marriage, which they cited in 2013 in U.S. versus Windsor. And this same justice, Justice Kennedy, wrote in Windsor that these matters had historically been left to the states under the Constitution of the United States. And they were not matters for the federal government. That's exactly what they said when they overturned DOMA, the 1996 law regarding marriage between a man and woman.
Justice Alito, as you know, I've already heard you and seen you quoting from him. He said that in so many words, that this was going to pave the way for persecution. That this new orthodoxy, that people are going to end up in court from stuff that they happen in their jobs or perhaps.
He said it would vilify Americans.
Yes,
who are unwilling to assent to the new orthodoxy.
They'll whisper things, but they'll be afraid.
He said, sometimes you may be able to whisper in your homes, and that's basically what they've reduced religious liberty to. They're saying that you can teach and advocate, but you better not do anything. Well, you know what they used was a reference to the First Amendment, but they left out one word, and that's exercise.
Right.
The free exercise of religion. And when you forget that your faith is more than about just what you talk about, it's where you are. And that's what this court is really going after, what you do.